Anyways, Your Lordship, invited guests, dear students, members of the media, Assalamu alaikum, Nisambula Binaka, and a very, very good evening to you all. Indeed, it's a very good evening. And I think after all these lockdowns and restrictions, it's really, what should I say, comforting to be with people without the masks. And so this evening is all about celebrating or fighting or advocating for gender parity. And I think your profession is very important to us to ensure that we raise awareness on women's equality, women's rights. Yesterday I was fortunate to be part of the Independent Legal Commission's launch of the new case management upgraded IT system. And it was indeed, what should I say, enlightening to hear what all is available out there for women in terms of access to justice, access to legal services with the Legal Aid Commission. And you are part of that fraternity that is really going to work towards ensuring that the laws and legislation that we make is actually implemented. I think Fiji has one of the best laws. I started with this in 2014, but as a teacher for 25 years, I always felt that somehow the society pulled us back. And because there's a lot of young men here, and I'm sure you belong to the new generation, you have a mindset of your own, and you don't believe in those old patriarchal mindsets that says women, your place is in the kitchen, or women, you are rightly treated the way you should be by these men. No, we are born equal. The Constitution and everything gives us equal rights. So why do we fight for gender parity? Why do we have to create awareness when we are equal? I think it's because we've been, well, for the Pacific I can talk about, and for Fiji, from the time we are born, we already have mindsets about girls and boys. And, I don't miss an opportunity to say that I just became a new grandmother 3 weeks ago, and I'm blessed with a baby boy. And I think we all, guardians and parents, when children are born, that should start from your home, how you treat boys and girls. If we teach our boys that we must exist with respectful relationships, the word now to fight gender inequalities is for us to ensure that men and women have respectful relationships within workplaces, within homes, within organizations, wherever we go. So domestic violence, when you talk about it in Fiji, it's a global issue. It's a global issue. As long as there's power play, there will be violence. As long as there's power play, there will be inequalities. And I think that's what this evening is all about. So I always tend to go with that. But first of all, let me thank you for having me here with a whole week of Parliament with issues going on. And COVID suddenly has overloaded us with a lot of backlogged commitments. We want to do a lot of things in a very short time as the year is coming to an end. But certain issues, ladies and gentlemen, has to be addressed and has to be talked about, and talked about with a lot of conviction. We all must believe in the fight for equality. We must all believe in women not being victims or survivors of domestic violence. We must not believe that it's equal for a guy or a man to hit a woman. We must believe that, and that belief must come from here. And you, the younger generation, I say everybody young except me, you, the younger generation, have a role to play. You have a role to play. And your institutions, your trainings, your training institutions, your mentors, your workplaces are a good place to showcase that. Do not succumb to gender violence. Never tolerate that. Rise up and always advocate to condemn it in any platform. Just say no to that. Because we women, believe me, or we as a society will continue to fight for this. I mean, I've been in this for the last 8-9 years. I know any forums we go, when we talk about the status of women, almost every country representative comes up with that. My country has this. Unfortunately for us in the Pacific, Fiji ranks very high in terms of that. Like I said, we have best of the legislations. But are we going to allow that to collect dust on the table? No, we know. We have to make it a living document. Every act that we have, the Domestic Violence Act, the Child Welfare Act, everything is there to protect. We have, you'll know better than me about the sentencing, what the courts and the judges do there. So we don't interfere with that. As legislators, we make the law, and we let the courts deal with that. But I hope and pray and wish that our courts come down very hard on those who inflict pain and violence on girls and women. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, I've been told I've been very busy. This is about, we are getting for the Inter-Tertiary Law Schools Gala Awards. And as I look around, I know you are in a mood for music and fun and dancing, but this information is very important because we want you to be agents of change. The cafe starts at 12 p.m. So you'll have a lot of time. Please, as the MC said, be responsible, eat well. Well, I won't say drink well, but if you do, please get those extra calories off yourself by some gymming and exercising tomorrow. But I'll leave that to you. And I cannot express how pleased I am with this theme that you have, because it focuses on the rights of women in education, gender discrimination in workplaces, our women's economic empowerment, enforcement mechanisms for domestic violence, eradication, and of course sentencing terrorists for sexual offenses. Very important. I'm not saying men don't go through that. Please don't. I won't say men don't go through violences. I don't know. I'm sure it happens with the women know better. Eh? We women know better. But let's not inflict violence on anybody, whether it's your spouses, your partners, your children. It's bad. But ladies and gentlemen, advancing gender equality, like I said, requires the changing of mindsets. And this can be done through advocacy, awareness programs, legal reform, settling legal issues through court cases, and indeed restructuring archaic social, economic, and legal systems and mechanisms which have entrenched patriarchy in its makeup. When you talk about patriarchal norms, it's a male-dominated society. Women are heavily, I said in Parliament on Monday, women are massively underrepresented in everything. Maybe not here, but your universities have equal representation of men and boys. But women are more women graduates come out of tertiary institutions than boys. So what is the problem? Why are we not doing enough? I'm not saying why are we not doing enough. What I meant here, there's lots done. And you know what the biggest barrier for me as a Minister for Women to think about why women stay in violent relationships is our inability to be financially dependent. That's why we are trying to promote economic empowerment of women. I've heard stories from women who say, Minister, where can I go? How will I feed my children? The courts will say, the men is to bear maintenance of this. Is the maintenance enough to sustain the livelihood of families? And we've had women calling us in nights to say, I need a shelter. I need a safe place. So very soon we'll be having a few shelter spaces opening up. But that's not the solution. That's not the solution. The home, which is supposed to be the most secure place for any child and any man, should be there. I don't like putting women in safe places. I don't like putting children in residential homes because they don't belong there. I also don't like putting elderlies in old people, so you must have heard me say that. So what is wrong with us? What is wrong with the society that we live in today? And this is probably the biggest challenge young people like you will have when you assume leadership roles, whether nationally, whether in your organizations, whether when you become mom and dads. What is wrong? I'll leave that to you to question, right? So we are celebrating 16 days of activism on violence against women. There's a lot of programs going on, and we as a ministry, we continue to support programs, and your event is also, right? Am I right? Our minister's backing is also for this event, and we'll continue to do that because we strongly believe in empowerment. But I think my minister's name is women, but we also look at advocacy when it comes to young men and women. It's not only women, right? When you say families, it includes both men and women. So I hear people asking me, when are we going to have a men's ministry, or when is there going to be a men's crisis center, and all these things come up. We look at everybody. When we mention family, it's everybody that's included. So we have a critical role to play, and what we are doing is trying to see how we can remove the gender inequalities that exist, right? Women everywhere want equal pay. Not only in Fiji, every woman everywhere wants equal pay. But do they get it? No, they don't, right? Women everywhere in the world want control and decide to what to do with their own bodies. You know, you probably know what happens. Things like marital rape and sexual abuse and harassment, all forms of harassment. Somebody calls you that, body shames you, and so these are very serious issues. And we as women, we need to decide what we want to do with ourselves. Our ambitions, our careers, we should be allowed to decide on that. In Fiji, we give you equal opportunities when it comes to education. And I believe with education, we can not only can we change our own lives, but we can change the mindsets of our society. Please promote education, right? And so, can you think about a society or an organization where you don't have women workers? We bring life to the organization. Women bring life to the education. But when you suppress women, when you dominate women, when you don't allow her to do things she wants to do, then that doesn't work. So the prospect of professionals in adopting gender equality as part of the learning and professional development speaks volumes about not only the gender agenda, but everything in a nutshell. The University of Fiji Students Association, we thank you, and you should believe in gender mainstreaming in all aspects of your life so that people become gender sensitive. How do we treat women in a workplace? Pregnant women, women who have just delivered. How do you treat them? How many organizations have places where the woman is freely allowed to breastfeed a child? Isn't that gender inequality? The man is a father. I mean, he doesn't have to breastfeed, we all know that. But how many organizations actually allow for women who have newly given birth to the babies a space at least? I don't know. These are some of the things that we'll need to push for. And of course the COVID pandemic, let's not forget that. What the COVID pandemic has done to us. What the COVID pandemic it's exacerbated gender inequalities across the world. In Fiji, we had reports that there were more cases of gender violence reported during the COVID time. So we have a domestic violence helpline, we have a child helpline, and when we analyze the data that we get, what could be the reason? Think about it. So as you go along with the discussion, why do you think women ended up being beaten up more in the COVID pandemic? Why not? Mental stress. The woman is responsible for everything, looking after the family, raising the children, food, etc. So, but does that mean if the man loses the job, if the man loses his temper, suddenly the man is all frustrated, he takes it out on a woman? No. That's why we say every woman must say no. It doesn't mean you're a housewife. It doesn't mean you work in a corporate world. You could be the CEO of a company. Sometimes when you read stories, you could be an educated woman holding a master's degree, a good job, good salary, but you still are subjected to that emotional and mental abuse. I mean, we all have gone through that. Those that have not gone through it, good luck on you. But if you ask every woman, we all have gone through that. I may be going through the most difficult periods of my life. What do you think? As a minister for women, I don't get verbally abused? I do. People will call up and then everything, that's come. So from the morning my phone starts ringing. I hear stories of violence in home. I hear stories of children who've been scared to stay home. I hear that. And we look for solutions for that. So, what do you think we have to celebrate? Do we have a reason to celebrate by being women? Do we have a reason to celebrate by being a community? Do you? You think we have a reason to celebrate? Of course we have a reason to celebrate. We make a 49% of the Fijian population, ladies. The world population, 49%, 7 billion divided by half it. We are there everywhere. Education, health, law. If you count the number of women, I think we'll just outnumber all the boys today. But don't do that. I'm not here to promote that. I said respectful relationship. I'm promoting that, right? Because I'll be in a big problem. So we should celebrate the contribution every woman makes to our community. We must celebrate that. That's one thing nobody can take away from us. We are women, we should celebrate that. And I think many women have proven that. But the bottom line, every woman deserves to be respected. Anywhere, you deserve to be respected. So I would like to leave you by saying that changing attitudes is a fundamental aspect of achieving gender equality and empowerment of women and girls, and it must start with respect and balance of power. If anything that I want you to take with you is respect, balance of power, and respectful relationships. Go home, if you had an issue with your partner or your husband, please forgive and move on. But sometimes we women are good at poking the stick. I said that. Why did you say that to me? I will forgive you. Come on. When you want balance of power, it's always give and take, right? It's always give and take. But don't bow down to violence and disrespect. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know we are going to hear from our Lordship today, and I know you're looking forward for the band is there, and you must have other plans to do that. But thank you very much to all those students who took part, and those who will be awarded today. And those of you who will not be awarded, you have a long way to go. You can just go and reward yourself. Get a glass and click it to yourself. To me, do that. That's how we live life. COVID has taught us a lot of things, eh? Yes. COVID actually has taught us to value relationships. When our families were separated by the local borders, how did you feel? International borders. We lost a lot of people because of COVID. So, what we want to do today, let's do it today. You want to enjoy, you want to have fun, you want to dance. As long as you are safe, that's what I would say. As long as you don't end up in the police station with a fine because you are late with the curfew, I wouldn't want you to do that. But thank you to the organizers for this Gala Awards, and my former minister launched this initiative in Saweni in the beginning of this year. And you can be rest assured that my ministry will stand with you, okay? What I'm going to say last is you have the power to change not only yourself, change your families, change this country. We look up to you. When we are gone, we're not going to stay here for years. You will take up leadership positions. You are young people, young minds, positive energy. Think what is good for you. Don't do anything that's going to do harm to you. Young people sometimes do things that just because you are too emotional, eh? We don't want to lose you. When you have stress, there's a lot of help available. Go through counseling. When you have problems, your universities have those mechanisms to help you. If not, call me. I won't give you a number now because I know what you're going to do when you get drunk and stuff. But if you do know, always remember help is out there. And we also celebrated International Day for Disabled Persons. Okay? Please remember those who are not privileged as us, who may be physically impaired, who may be, they might have impairments of any matter. So please help out. And this Christmas is going to be a very tough one for us. I know Christmas is there. Please think about those who are not as fortunate as us, those that have lost their jobs and rebuilding their lives. Spare our thought for the elders. And I'm sure the next year will be a good one for us. So with these words, thank you very much, and I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy 2020. Yeah.